hear me here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, damn, yeah, welcome back,
That was
everybody.
quick. That was real quick.
That was really quick. Well, I forget it's like a 5-second intro, Brad.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast where reviews movies and talks about nerd shit. This is episode 739. And as always, is Nerd Chicani here to host the show. And lots of our wonderful co-host, Brad Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful, wonderful Friday here on EV Mux.
Yeah.
Because StreamYard sucks.
Damn straight. And we've got kind of got the hang of it, Brad.
Yeah, we've been figuring it out. We spent, an hour after the previous show just fucking figuring shit out, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, that meant that Brad wasn't able to watch Come and See yesterday.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do it yesterday. But we're here today to do it nonetheless. But as always, we're live early and ad-free over on patreon.com/thenerdcore, where you can go ahead and get this episode live early and ad-free before anybody else gets to watch it on Sunday at 12 p.m. And, of course, yeah, lots of stuff to talk about today. Yep, lots of stuff to talk about today, Brad. But before we can get into it, Brad, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Raul. Doing well. I actually had breakfast with Brenda today.
Yeah.
Because I had to go to like kind of a meeting, and then I was able to take her to breakfast. So
yeah,
we did that. I've learned I'm very tired of my hair. Like,
yeah,
I almost want to just buzz it all off. Just call it.
I don't know if you want to see that.
I don't know. Like I know. Like I'm like, nah, man. My head's
get a little fade going, Brad. Get a little taper fade on the side, bro.
Well, I'm emo right now, but
yeah.
I'm just afraid if I were to shave it all off, like my head is just fucking lumpy. That's my fear. Is like it's just lumpy.
Well, don't shave it. You don't have to shave it. You can get like a little fade going, Brad.
So done with it. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to shave it all off.
Yeah, I know. But
yeah.
I don't know. It just comes into my mind sometimes. It'd just be nice just to go zzz and just be done with it.
Yeah. That's what you get for having straight hair, Brad.
You know, like almost all the men in my family are bald. So
yeah.
I don't understand. I've been like waiting and it like I don't
It didn't get to you, Brad.
No. I'm just
that's and your parents only had one child.
Yeah, and some of my cousins have skipped too, but I'm just like, man, this hair's annoying, and getting a haircut's annoying. I'm just annoyed.
Oh God, man. Well, I got a good amount of hair right now. Not time for a fade just yet, but I'm pretty happy with what I got at the moment.
Looking good.
Yeah, man. I streamed today. And I worked out as well today. I went to work out. So that's all I've been pretty much doing.
I didn't work out today, but I'm trying to make like this little stair thing out of rocks. So I was doing that part of today.
So you were sweating.
So yeah, well, kind of, sort of, yeah, a little bit, but like it was cold enough. So I was doing well when the sun was up, but when it went behind the mountain, it was just like. I'm done.
Yeah. Any snow yet, Brad? Or
yeah. So we actually had a late start, I think yesterday, at 10 because of snow and ice weather. But all the roads are pretty good, pretty decent. So just had to go to work at 10.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're okay and everything's good, man.
Yeah.
Sucks that what's it called that it snowed, but better than what's it called being like snowed in like a blizzard or something.
Yeah, I mean
10 minutes to start. Yeah.
I mean, even if I was snowed in though, probably wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, not that bad, right? But yeah, Brad, you're probably gonna ask me, Brad, why the hell did you finally pick this, bro?
No, I know why, because you've been like, I mean, I think for a couple years now, at least two.
Since I first watched it.
Yeah, I think since you first watched it, you were like, Brad, you need to see this, but I don't know if you're ready. Yeah, it's always kind of been how it is. Like, I don't know. Like, we know how you were with Grave of the Fireflies. I don't really know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you this right now, Brad. I didn't rewatch it. Because I remember this movie vividly. Well,
I would imagine.
I've watched it twice now. I don't think I want to rewatch it a third time right now. I think
What?
the next time we need to, I'm gonna rewatch this is for like a deep dive on cinema condition.
See, I can kind of agree with that. I think I could watch it a second time, but I think after the second time, I would probably be done with it for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would guess, I would say that like, I think after more than a second rewatch, I think I'd start to get into territory of desensitizing,
Yeah,
and I don't want to be
parts of it.
desensitized to this.
No, I
No.
mean this is there are certain parts of this that are pretty awful.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as graphic as I thought it was going to be.
Oh no.
Like
No.
it's everything like the most horrific stuff they kind of put into the background. Like you can hear it,
Yeah.
but they never go and like show it. Like Eli Roth would remake this and show everything.
Oh well, Eli Roth
and-
would bastardize this.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
Yeah. But with that said, we should probably stop beating around the bush and just get into it.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't seen Come and See, you should probably get out of here. We care about spoilers, but if you don't care about spoilers or you've already seen the film, go ahead and stay. Either way, how it goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect after these words from our sponsors in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's episode of the Nerdcore is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off your first order with code THENERDCORE. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. So, Come and See is a 1985 Soviet anti-war film directed by Elem Klimov and starring Alexei Kravchenko and Olga Mironova. Its screenplay, written by Klimov and Ales Adamovich, is based on the 1971 novel Khatin and the 1977 collection of surviving testimonies, I Am From the Fiery Village. I do not know how to pronounce that. Of which Adamovich was a co-author. Klimov had to fight 8 years of censorship from the Soviet authorities before he was allowed to produce the film in its entirety. What? The film's plot focuses on the German occupation of Belarusia during World War II and the events as witnessed by a young Belarusian teenager named Fliora, who joins a partisan unit and thereafter depicts the Nazis' atrocities and human suffering inflicted upon the populace.
Can we just go back to the censorship from the Soviets? I kind of get it.
Why?
Because it makes them look weak.
Yeah,
The Nazis went through and just basically destroyed 630 Soviet towns. So just to answer your question.
Even though the Soviets ended up beating them.
Yeah, but still, the Soviets have always been known not wanting to be made look weak.
Yeah. The film mixes hyper-realism with an underlying surrealism and philosophical existentialism with poetical, psychological, political, and apocalyptic themes. The film received positive reviews during its initial release and received the FIPRESCI, which is the Film Critic Prize at the 14th Moscow International Film Festival. It is the last and most recent film that Klimov directed before his death. I'm just going to say the International Federation of Film Critics, because every time I want to say FIPRESCI or FIPRESCI, it's the International Federation of Film Critics. I don't know why I'm mad at that. Critical response to Come and See has since continued to rise more widespread acclaim in retrospective years. Its realistic portrayal of the horrors of war and brutality in the film's third act was widely praised, alongside previously unknown Kravchenko's performance being universally lauded, which is highly regarded as one of the finest instances of child acting performance ever. It has since come to be considered one of the greatest films of all time, particularly in the anti-war film genre. In the 2022 Sight and Sound Directors poll of the 14 of the greatest films of all time, it ranked 41st. And cinematography by Alexei Rodionov, edited by Valeria Belova, music by Oleg Yachenko, and sits at 2 hours and 22 minutes, and it made $21 million at the box office. Let's see. Any trivia? I do know that there was what's it called? That at one of the premieres. Um, I think it was the premiere of the film. An older man got up at the end of the film and said that what's it called? That it was worse. That what happened was actually worse than this.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can show on film or recreate.
Yeah. Live ammunition was used during filming. In interviews, Alexei Kravchenko has described bullets passing 10 centimeters above his head. Some of the true soldiers are used Russian weapons. They're likely the jamming could work at lower temperatures than many German-made guns. Let's see anything else here. The original name of the film was supposed to be Kill Hitler. The name had to be changed because it was deemed inappropriate at the time. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'll read this one and that'll be the end. Final film directed by Yelon Klimov. Though he intended to make more films, he had stated in 2001 that he felt he had creatively taken himself as far as he could. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Brad. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and throw it on to you, man. What are your initial thoughts on Come and See?
My initial thoughts on this is an excellent movie that portrays probably one of the better portrayals of what it actually is to live in a war zone and what happens to the people, not just the military, but the citizens in a war zone. And I don't know if I've ever seen a teenager age more than I have in this movie from what he saw. This is a hard watch. I don't know if this is harder than Grave of Fireflies for me, but it's a difficult watch. I mean, it's a great movie. It's shot freaking well. I mean, the acting's great. You can't turn your eyes away. But at the end of the day, Ro, you're right. This is a hard watch.
Fucking hard, bro.
It's difficult. I mean, I could probably watch it one more time, and then I'd probably need like 10 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's a pretty fantastic film. I hate to say that because there's some stuff shown in this that I don't know should be shown, should be depicted. But maybe it's better for everyone to understand what happens when fascists come into your country and destroy it.
Yep. Brett, I mean, I've told you before what I felt during the first time I watched this movie. I was just completely blown away, but I felt nauseous after I finished the film, and I was very numb after I finished the film. And I think it's absolutely incredible that a movie can do that to you, but I had never felt that way with a movie ever in my life. Ever. I never felt that way. When I first watched this the second time, I didn't have that same feeling, but I was still very like, holy shit, like, this is still really good. Because on the second watch, I really did, I watched it with my friends because they wanted to see it, and I mostly looked at the second time, the technical aspect. And I was looking at the Steadicam and, the sound design of this.
Sound design's amazing because our main character is deafened by bombs. And they keep that sound design through a whole lot of the movie. Like, the sound design shows you're from his perspective of what he can't and cannot hear. I think that's a fantastic way to portray so that you can kind of get into this character's body and kind of live how he's living.
Yeah. It doesn't hold back.
No.
At all?
No.
I mean, it's just it's like the whole moment when they're running, right? And it's you know what is back there, Brad. Like, no one's in the village. You know what's back there.
And then like the scene. A lot of this is just good tension building. A lot of this movie is good is great tension building even. And so that scene where he goes into his mother's house, and he's like, my mother made soup. Try my mother's soup. And Glesha, um,
Yeah.
retches, because there's probably an overwhelming smell, and you just see all these flies, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there. You're going, "There's a reason. There's all those flies.
Yep.
There's not no reason. There's all those flies."
Yeah.
And then they're running, and she turns her head, and you just see the bodies piled up, and you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the framing here, really how it's very clever, kept very like up close and personal. It really feels like you're looking at these people, like you're
I mean,
not.
specifically the main character, because you get to see him age
Yeah.
through the film, and I don't mean he's getting older. I mean, this war is basically draining him, and you just see the life coming out of his face.
Yeah. Um, and of course, just the what's it called? The cinematography. It's nothing like there's nothing being done here like super extravagant with lighting. It's very kept natural. Everything's really kept natural. Though the night scenes are pretty cool. I thought that was really interesting the way they lit that.
Yeah,
And they have like very minimal like where the moon is supposed to be hitting them. But other than that, like it's very natural, very practical lighting
yeah.
here.
I mean, practical lighting. I liked the one scene where you had the fog.
Oh
You
yeah,
had the tracer bullets there. What a defeating fucking scene though. The kid's uncle gets killed, and then the
yeah,
cow he's trying to get, so it's not a meaningless mission, gets killed, and
yep,
it's rough. And then on top of that, the grandpa or grand old guy who basically brings him in to try to save him, they're all put into, what was that, a church, a barn,
yeah.
and just completely slaughtered, which made me
Burned
think
alive.
of I forget what the movie was called, but it's where the UN nations. It was the movie with the
Oh,
UN nation.
Kova di Saida.
Yes, and I think there was a scene where they were all put into a room,
And they
and
were all
then
shot up.
all the
Yeah,
guys were shot. That came to my mind, and I'm like, and right even before that, I'm like, they're gonna shoot all these people. They're gonna get
yeah.
up there and they're gonna shoot all these people.
And then you see the way they fucking like they throw the baby too. Remember, like
Yeah, yeah. I
they're
mean,
like, oh,
and
just take the baby, like kill me. And then nope, they're like, nope, throw it in there.
threw the
Like,
baby back in, and yeah, and then how heartless they are is like, leave the children and you can leave.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
just like, bro.
yeah,
And part of me when he had the gas can after the Nazis were caught, part of me wanted to see them burn.
yeah,
And I think that's what this movie causes you. It's that instinct of, you want these evil fucking beings just to be just the worst done to them.
yeah. But I mean, I think that's the message of this movie. It's like, what's it called? Hatred breeds hatred.
Yeah, and it's a
Because
never-ending cycle.
because to me, there's a lot of parts of this movie that's absolutely graphic and very very harrowing and very disturbing. Like the house being burned alive, the little girl who comes back just blowing into a fucking whistle, and you just see the blood coming down her legs, and you don't need you don't
You
need
know,
it to be explained.
and
You know
they
damn well what happened.
you know, and they did such a good job of in that casting point, because she did have a similar look to Glacia.
Glacier, yeah, Glacier,
Yeah, she had a very similar, and it's the eyes for me, because
yeah,
when you first see Glacia, the eyes are just, they're so fixating, and
mm-hmm,
then the same character had those same kind of characteristics, so you thought it was her.
yeah,
And
and of
and
course,
then and then he does the quote of like, to live and to have children, and you're like, was that her? And you're
yeah.
like, no, it wasn't, but still, it could have been
But to
very
me,
easily.
honestly, Brad, to me, the most harrowing part of this movie is hearing that Nazi soldier explain it clear in front of their face
Oh yeah,
why they're
yeah,
doing this.
because he doesn't think they should exist.
He's like, I don't think you guys should exist. I believe that, you know, what's it called? He says Jews, what's it called, communists, and everybody. They're a part of a lower part of society that I believe if you guys reproduce and we do not stop you here, you will poison our society, and you will. And it's like that to me is the most scary part because even though this is based on 40 something, that's still an idea that is very much somewhat prevalent today. People still believe that,
which is bullshit.
Yeah, and we're still fighting the same. We're still fighting the same goddamn ideology.
We're still fighting stupid. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, and to me, that's the scariest part. That's the scariest part. I think this is also the scariest movie ever made. It's not even a horror film. Not straight up horror, but I'd fucking say this is one of the scariest shit I've ever seen. This is horror in every sense of the word.
I mean, I agree. This is a horror film. I think that, and this is, I think like, cause as I watch this, I'm like, cause in my mind, I'm like Grave of the Fireflies. I'm like going back to Grave of the Fireflies, and I'm like, you know, Grave of the Fireflies, like this would be if Grave of the Fireflies was made, you know, with actual people.
Yeah. Yeah. But its movie doesn't hold back. It almost feels like it doesn't even want you to turn away with the way that it's framed because it like wants you to keep looking.
Yeah. He makes such scenes in this, like when they're going across the bog and then the guy comes out to take her out of the bog, and in my mind I'm like, oh my god, this dude's like gonna rape her. That's exactly in my mind what I was thinking was gonna happen, but it wasn't. But like this is what this movie does. It makes you like think of the worst things of humanity is going to happen.
Well, and then you also look at obviously there was one woman who she was part of the Belarusians, and she was like, oh, you see the people are like, oh, they thought that they were fine if they were accepted by the Nazis, and then she ends up dead.
Yeah, no.
So, amazing film. I can't rewatch it after this. I can't rewatch it after a second time until somebody wants to do a cinema condition on this, and we do a whole deep dive into it.
That will not be me. I'll tell you that right now. I like the movie wasn't as, you know, the way it was kind of was like I was like, oh god, I'm not, but it wasn't like to the point. I don't know if it's just we've watched so many other movies where I've just become, I guess, less triggered by it.
I mean, it's the thing with Shallow as well, right? It's like, you know, I don't entirely think that Shallow is disturbing because of what it's showing. It's disturbing because you know that actually happened. Like somewhere in Italy at that time, that had to have happened.
Yeah.
Like not entirely the way it's shown, but like the idea of, you know, these fascists capturing people and subjecting them to torture, like,
well, and you
100%
know, because it happened in just Belarus alone 630 plus times.
Yeah, well, and that's the part that sucks so much, Brad, because like, you know, the Nazis occupy them, and then they have that period, and then the Soviets occupy them.
Yeah,
and it's like, you know, when has Belarus ever been, you know, given a break? You know,
no, but I mean, it's kind of like Poland.
Yeah, never gets a break. Never fucking gets a break. But Brad, I think it's incredible. I think that it's necessary viewing by any person in this world. I think that you should see this. I said it once and I said it again. If I was a professor, if I was a teacher, I'd show this movie.
I mean, it'll definitely make you hate fascists and put stuff in a historical context.
Yeah. Any sudden feeling you had after seeing it, Brad, or were you just like, all right, you're like, I need to go hug my wife now?
No, like I mean, my first thought was like, wow, this was a great film, and then my second thought was like, wow, I really hate Nazis.
Yeah.
like there is no there is no place in this world for fascism, for people killing people, playing with people, doing anything in this movie just because there is a difference.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I think it's an incredible movie, Brad. It's perfect to me. It's a 10 out of 10. But it's one of those that I don't know if I could sit down and watch it again until somebody needs to do a cinema condition, and even after that, this isn't one that I'm sitting down. I'm like, all right, let's see this. Let's see what's up. We'll come and see. Like, no.
There's a lot of difficult scenes in this to have to go through again.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly.
To put it bluntly, right, Brad? It's just it's just like there's a lot of stuff in here that's gonna be really hard to go through again. But but I'll tell you this, Brad. If you think this is disturbing, there are 3 short docs in the Criterion Collection's Blu-ray of this, which to me are far more disturbing than this movie.
Well, and here's my question: are the documentaries what's shown in this film at the end when they're like going past in time, where he's like thinking, where he's shooting the painting and he's thinking he's going to kill baby Hitler?
We need to go. No, well, because these are accounts of people who lived in it.
Okay, so they're accounts.
Those are 3 docs. Like, I've only seen one, Brad, and one was enough for me to be like, yeah, I can't watch the next ones. I need to give myself time.
In that scene alone, the historical films, because those were actual footage. Of the concentration camps and the dead people who had just like been malnourished to the point they were ribs. And to me, like that to me, because that was real.
That was very real.
That was real in the film. And to me, that was fucking devastating.
Yeah. I would say you can easily tell where, like, to me, I think that Jonathan Glazer got not a lot of influence, but he got some influence when it comes to the sound design of this movie for Zone of Interest.
Mm-hmm.
And you obviously, Roger Deakins has gone back and forth and talked about how much he loves this movie and how much he disinspired his way of shooting, and he was always wanting to make a movie like this. I don't think that 1917 was ever anything like that. Sorry, but man,
that might be for the best. I don't know how a modern audience like fully would deal with such, deal with the narrative this has.
Yeah. Brad, what's your final verdict?
I keep flopping back between a 9.5 and a 10. Just because Grave of the Fireflies, I want to say Grave of the Fireflies might be slightly more devastating to me. But this might just be equal to that. So I think I gave Grave of the Fireflies a 10. And, come and see, it deserves a 10. I think you're right. I think everyone needs to watch this. It's a hard watch. It's very difficult. But history is cyclical, and we don't want it to be.
Yeah. I'm looking at this here, and it said mass killings of civilians in Barnes in Belarus took place in 1943 under Oskar Dorlanger command during Operation Kutbus. While the stated intention was to eliminate partisans, Dorlanger had done the same thing previously in Poland. Okay, yeah, Poland was the one.
Yeah, Poland been getting shit on. For a long time. But I mean, they showed the Nazis in true form. They were killing intellectuals. They were killing everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone who they thought genetically was inferior.
Yep. But other than that, guys, I think I was gonna say something else, but oh, and I was gonna say that you saw how Florida was like super he was what's it called? He was very excited to want to go to war. Like,
he was naive.
Super naive.
And I think here's the thing, though, is they bring up the colonel or whoever's in charge. I forget what they called him. The giant, like when he first comes to screen, I'm like, this dude's giant and like he's fucking hefty. Like he looks like he could beat the shit out of
looks like you're pretty normal Soviet.
Yeah, exactly. And Glesha goes, he spared you. He had pity on you. He kept you here. And at the same point, I'm like, I don't know about that. And I think that's what you see when you see him first see, I forget his name, Florian.
Yeah.
When he first sees him, the colonel, he sees him, and
Yeah, Filiola.
I think he realizes that maybe he should have taken him.
Yeah. Yeah. But incredible movie, man. And that is it for our review. As always, we thank you guys so much for being here with us. And of course, keep up to date with us on thenerdcorp.com, the Nerdcore on Twitter, Instagram at the Nerdcore, Letterboxd at the Nerdcore, TikTok on the Nerdcore until the 19th, and Patreon.com/thenerdcore at the $1 tier. You get this episode live early and ad free before anybody else gets to watch it. Of course, our Discord link is in the description below where you can discuss this movie along with other movies with us. We finally got through it. 100%. This will never get a what's called movie commentary because what the fuck do you want us to commentate on this? But yeah, you got it done now, Brad, and you'll never have to talk about the movie again.
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna come up.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I would still say, Brad,
sure.
Those docs in this film in the Blu-ray, and I have them up, are way worse. Like what that woman, the first one I watched, because it was the shortest one I watched. It was the shortest one, and I watched it, and what that woman described, what they were doing, devastating. Fucking devastating.
I mean, I can honestly say just because this film, so the stuff that's, a story in the film, and then you have clips of a documentary of what actually happened. The story's bad. Like, the story is at points, man, I don't want to see this. But when they show the concentration camps and the victims of that, of the actual footage, the historical footage, you're like, oh, it was much worse than anything shown on this film.
Yep. Yeah, way fucking worse. And yeah, I need to get through the other ones, but like, dude, the first one I watched, it was like, I was like, damn, like this is the shortest one. And I was like, I'll watch this. Fucking shit, what was way worse. I was like, dude, this is horrifying. Fucking horrifying. But if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And it seems that we still haven't learned from it.
No.
Yeah. And of course, leave a comment on the YouTube video, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss another review that drops on the channel. And of course, make sure that you're leaving a 5-star review and you're following us on your favorite podcast app of choice. All of that helps us out so much. As always, we want to thank our wonderful patrons. Without them, none of this is possible. And I don't know, Brad, what's it called? Today's one of the episodes where it's like, maybe you guys shouldn't have paid, man. Like, maybe I don't want this episode to be possible. But, Brad, this whole month has movies that are pretty difficult to watch.
But at the same time, it's an important movie.
Yeah, it's important. I'm never going to show you something that's not, like, that I don't think is important.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show you, like, that's the reason why we haven't done shit like, like Eli Roth's movies. I see no use in that.
No, and like,
Eli
Roth's movies glorify violence in a way that I just have a distaste for. This has violence, which there's a reason for it. There's a reason he's telling you this. Eli Roth, there's no fucking reason most of the time for that shit.
Yeah. But, this is pretty difficult, but I have, Brad, I promise, bro, there's a lot more coming down that I'm sorry you're going to have to watch. But like I said, you make it through this month, and next month, you can make a fucking animated film month for all you care. For all I care, bro. I
don't know, we might just continue on this year and where we're starting.
Yeah, you'd be like, let's just keep watching. Next, like, you know what, bro? We did a commentary. We didn't review Salo, so let's just go ahead and do Salo.
Let's just do that.
Yeah. But as always, thank you to our patrons. You make this possible. Brad, tell them about our executive producer, Shane.
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at ThriftedIL, or go buy something from the Suppy God at dpop.com/Prison City Vintage.
Damn straight. And as always, we will catch you guys tomorrow for our review of. We decided with Skeleton Crew first, right? And then Creature Commandos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Skeleton Crew, episode 4. And then on Sunday, Creature Commandos, episode 4. So we're going to continue on with the shows that we have on the live show. But for now, that's all we've got. Guys, yeah, there's being human is rough, man. But be thankful that I think when I watched this movie, I was like, you know what? I'm thankful about where I live. That I'm thankful that I never had to experience something like this. I'm thankful
And
for
hopefully we never have to.
never have to, right? Never have to. But I thought a lot about like let's go. It's sad to say it like this, but stuff like this had to be fought so that way we would never have to do it again, and for things like this to not happen again. And sadly, it's things like this are happening again, and they're happening in other parts of the world, and it's really sad to see happen. Um, but if anything, I would say to get out from this is that hatred is hatred. No matter who it's pointed to, hatred is hatred, and hatred only breeds more violence. So, if you were to kill baby Hitler, what does that do? When there's already when the
would probably show up.
When someone worse shows up and spews the same ignorance, and it just breeds more hatred. So we should just love each other and try to coexist with each other and understand each other some more instead of having to fight each other and look down on each other. So, Brad, let's go ahead and send him out of here.
All right, Ro. Thank you for being host as always. Thank you to all those who join us in future chats. Thank you to our listeners and our Patreons. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, I'm going to go watch a happier film in Full Metal Jacket. Young Yoda out.